everyone, and enjoy your session.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. So if you didn't hear me earlier, we're going to use our floor mats a little later on, and we'll just use hand weights. We're only going to use them for 1 or 2 exercises, so not super necessary today. We're going to do lots of different stepping. I suppose though, if you do have a hand weight or something you can use as like an obstacle, I'll probably use this as like an obstacle to step over later. But even if you don't have a hand weight, if you have something that you can use on the ground later, that might be helpful. So let's start with some of our LSVT moves, and then we're going to move into standing. So start first by scooting to the edge of our chair. Make sure that you're not using the back of your chair, so that we're working on our posture muscles. And with our first move, we're going to reach overhead with both arms, out in front of you, reaching your body weight forward, down towards the ground, and then squeeze your shoulder blades back. Let's do that 10 times. So again, reaching up, look up at your hands, shift forward and lean your weight forward, down and back. That's 2, up, out, down and back. 3, up, out, down and back. 4, up, out, down and back. 5, up, out, down and back. 6, up, out, down and back. 7, up, out, down and back. 8, up, out, down and back. 9, last one, up, out, down and back. 10. Let's move into our twist. So let's start with your left arm out to the side. Gonna do a big twist across. See if you can pivot on that front leg in the front. Open and reset. Let's do that 10 times with that same arm. 1, open, 2, open. Each time try to twist a little further. 3, open, 4, open, 5, open, 6, open, 7, open, 8, open, 9, and 10. Switch arms, wide arm out to the other side. If you have to scoot to the front of your chair again and readjust, feel free. 10 times twisting this way. 1, open, 2, open, 3, open, 4, open, 5, open, 6, open, 7, open, 8, open, 9, open, and 10. All right, we're going to move into standing for our power moves to continue our warm-up. If you'd rather stay in seated, you can follow along with the seated moves, or you can join in standing. Actually, that creamer view might be good. So your options are to do this holding on to the back of your chair, or having it nearby if you need it. We're going to do a flow, so doing one move sequentially after another. So I'll kind of go slow through the first ones, and then you can join me. You can just watch for the first one if you want a reminder. Looks like everyone who's coming up is about there. So again, I'll just kind of demo. We're doing 1 power up, and then moving into the power rock. I'm going to do 1 power rock on each side. And of course, if you want to hang on, you can always use 1 or 2 hands to hang on to. You could even do the weight shift, holding on with both hands if you want. Moving into the power twist, 1 to each side. And then lastly, doing the power step. So I kind of take an extra beat to bring my feet back together for the power step. Stepping out, together, out, together. So that's one flow. I want to do that 10 times. We'll start a little bit slower, really targeting big movements with this. So I'm not worried about speed. I want you to just emphasize and exaggerate how big you're moving. Use support if you need it. And let's get started. So we'll come down, power up, get ready for the power rock, power rock, power rock, open for the twist and twist, open, twist, step together. And now we'll step out, together, out, together. Nice. So that's one. We're going to start back at the top. So move your feet apart, down, up, power rock, open, twist, open, twist, step together, and we'll step out, together, out, together. That's two. Bring your feet back apart, down, up, power rock, open, twist, open, twist, step back together, step out, and in, out, and in. That's three. Get back in the ready stance, feet apart, down, up, power rock, open, twist, open, twist. Bring your feet together, step out, in, out, in. Ready stance, back apart, down, up, power rock, open, twist, open, twist, step together, and we're stepping out, in, out, in. We're halfway done. Ready stance, feet apart, down, up, power rock, open, twist, open, twist. Bring your feet together, step out, in, out, and ready stance, feet apart, down, up, power rock, open, twist, open, twist. Bring your feet in so we can step out, together, out, together. Ready stance, feet apart, down, up, power rock, open, twist, open, twist. Bring your feet together, step out, in, out, in. Two more. Ready stance, down, up, power rock, open, twist, open, twist, step out, together, out, together. Last one. Ready stance, down, up, power rock, open, twist, open, twist. And lastly, step out, together, out, together. Awesome. So now that we're up and moving, we're going to start with some of our intervals. Let's see. You're going to want your mats down for one of the exercises. We have 4 interval exercises today. And then we're going to come back to some of those power moves at the end. So I'll go ahead and demo through these power moves. If you want to keep your eyes up here, you don't have to join me yet. So the first one is going to be a half kneeling row. So I'm going to get down into a half kneeling position, and you can, if you feel a little unsteady here with the leg that's up, so my right leg is up, I can lean on something to my right to steady myself, because you want to lean forward because we're going to do a row. And what's important with the row is that you're keeping your elbow close to your body. It's not out here, but you're just sliding your elbow back along your body, as opposed to having it out here to the side. If you're seated, you can do the same move, leaning over forward and rowing forward like that. So it's an extra little practice getting up and down from the ground and holding that kneeling position, but you can also do it seated. The second exercise we're going to do, we might as well keep our weights for this one. It's a sit to stand with a power up. So I'm gonna exaggerate my forward lean. And then as I stand, I'm squeezing my shoulder blades back together, power up. So that'll be the full move. Lean forward, power up. That's our second exercise. Our third one is a side lunge to a march with an arm raise. So let me demo. And I'm just gonna keep my weights through all these. I'm gonna lunge onto my right, and as I lunge to the side, my right leg bends. I'm kind of sticking my hips back like I'm sitting towards the chair, and this leg stays straight. I'm only bending on my right knee. And then from here, I'm gonna push up into a march and raise my opposite hand. So let me show that again. I'm lunging to my right leg, and then I come into a march and a raise. So if my right leg comes up into that march, I'm raising my left hand. So I'll probably have us stick to the same side for the first half, and then the second time through, we'll switch. So again, I'm lunging, and then a march and an arm raise. Maybe you want to have something in front of you for a little bit of support, especially when you're marching. Then I'm lunging, and then I can hang on to my chair when I do that march. And then our fourth exercise is going to be a karaoke side step with a bicep curl. So a lot of coordination with this one. I'm going to show you my feet with the karaoke. So the karaoke is where we're stepping 1 foot in front and then 1 foot behind. So that's the move. It's braiding or sidestepping, the grapevine, however you've heard it said. So how I want you to coordinate that though, is that each time you do a step in front or behind, you do a bicep curl. So then now I step behind, bicep curl. So I'm going to my right and it's my left foot that's crossing over. So anytime my left foot comes in front or steps behind, I'm doing a bicep curl. So see if you can coordinate it with one of the steps to your side. So those are our 4 exercises. We're going to do a minute on, 30 seconds off, 2 times through. We just have 1 set today. Let me pull up our timer. And our first exercise is that half kneeling row. So if you want to get set into that position, again, you can also do this seated if you don't want to get down onto the ground. Give everyone a moment to get set. Grab your hand weights if you need to. You can also do this with body weight. All right, so I got my hand weight ready. Let's go ahead. So I'm leaning forward and I'm doing this bent over row. So keeping my elbow close to my body, not letting it get far out to the side. This is working on our posture muscles. And I'm going to keep this leg up for the whole minute. Next time around, I'll bring my other leg in front. We are halfway done. So think about pulling your elbow back behind you. Yeah, that looks good. Good job. 15 seconds left. Three, 2, and 1. All right, make your way back up to standing. We're going to get set up for the sit to stand power up next. So we still have 15 seconds to rest and transition. You can do this one with or without weights. Couple seconds. All right. So big weight shift, power up as you stand up, and then nice and controlled coming down. If you want to keep one hand on your chair to help you stand, that's a great way to do it too. But nice and controlled. Let's see how many stands we can get in. Looking good. Everyone's doing a great job getting lots of extensions, squeezing their shoulder blades when you get up into standing. Perfect. I hear so much static on my chair when I stand up. It's that really dry time of the year. 10 seconds left. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. 30 seconds to rest. We're transitioning to that side lunge with an opposite arm raise. If you're staying seated in your chair, you can practice that opposite arm and leg raise. You can just go back and forth with the marching. But if you're standing, I want you to try that lunge. With or without the chair, both are effective. A couple seconds to get ready. And I'm going to lunge onto my right leg and then march with that opposite arm and leg. Lunge, come into a march. I'm going to stick to the same side. And then I'll tell you when we're halfway. And if you're lunging, we can do your other leg. Lunge into a march. Remember to hang on if you're losing your balance. All right, we're halfway, so let's switch legs. Now lunge onto your opposite leg and come up and march. Lunge and march. Whatever leg you're leaning onto bends and the other leg stays straight. Nice job. 3, 2, and 1. All right, make sure you have some room for our next one. We're doing our braiding, sidestepping, karaoke, whatever you want to call it. And I have a really small space here, so you don't have to turn and go back the other way when I do. If you have a big space that you're working with, you can use the whole length of your space with your sidestepping. We're coordinating a bicep curl every time one foot steps over. All right, let's begin. So this one isn't about speed. See if you can really coordinate your movement. One foot steps in front, one foot steps behind. You can also do this like along your wall or along the back of your couch, so you have something to hold on to. Good job, we're more than halfway done. Ten seconds left. Keep up with the big steps. Nice coordination. All right. 30 seconds to rest. We're going back up to the top. Half kneeling row. You can also do this bent forward. I'm going to bring my other leg up this time in my kneeling. One more round through each of those. You guys are doing great. This is our only series of intervals today. This time the weight's in the other hand, I'm bent forward, and I'm squeezing my shoulder blade back, drawing my elbow on the side of my body. Looking good. If you're not feeling it on your back muscles, if you're feeling it more in your shoulder, bring your chest forward more. Lean forward a little bit more. Should feel it right on your shoulder blade. These are our posture muscles working. 20 seconds left. Good job. Keep it up. and rest. We're gonna come up into standing, getting ready for our sit to stand power up with or without your weights. Three more exercises of this circuit. About 5 seconds to get ready. All right, here we go. So leaning forward and power up, really squeezing those shoulder blades that we just primed with our last exercise. If you want to use your hands to help you push, that's a great option. And then squeeze your shoulder blades once you're in standing. Nice job, everybody. Halfway done. Keep working. Five seconds to go. And rest. All right. We're going back to that side lunge with a march. Remember, if you're seated in your chair, you can spend the whole time doing that marching with opposite arm and leg. If you're standing, we're going to do a lunge first, like this, and then coming up onto one foot to march and raising the opposite hand. You can use a little bit of support if you want something to help you balance. All right, let's begin. So lunging onto one leg, march with opposite arm and leg. First 30 seconds just on this side. When you lunge, really make sure you're sitting your hips back. So you're sticking your hips back behind you like you're sitting in a chair. All right, switch sides. Lunge onto the other foot, and then march with the opposite arm and leg. And feel free to put your foot down after you march, just like I am, so that you have a lot of control when you step over to lunge. 10 seconds left. Three, two, and one. One more exercise. We're doing our karaoke or side stepping, coordinated with that bicep curl. Remember, if you want some support, feel free to do this along a wall or along your counter so that you have something to hang on to. About 10 seconds before we'll get started. Our last interval exercise. All right, here we go. So stepping in front, step behind, in front. And if you have more room, you can keep going. Otherwise, I'm going back the other way. Coordinating that bicep curl every time one foot steps in front or behind. With my bicep curls, I also want to keep my elbows tight to my sides. My arms aren't out, but they're tucked in nice and close. Halfway done. Keep it up. We'll take a break after this. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome job. Grab some water and take a seat. We're going to be standing for the next couple exercises, so if you want to rest for a moment, feel free. And for this next one, I'm going to use one of my hand weights as an obstacle. So if you have something that you want to give yourself as a little obstacle, we're going to be doing some different stepping drills over them. But take a couple minutes, catch your breath and rest, and then join me back in standing when you're ready. If you're staying seated, you can also use the obstacles with your stepping too. So with when we did our flow, our fourth move of the power flow was that power step. And I want to use that same power step to now do it in multiple different directions. So I'm going to put down my 2 hand weights, kind of at 45 degrees angles in front of me. I'll show you where I have them set up. First for stepping forward. So I have them set up kind of in front of me on either side so that I can practice stepping over and back over each one. Your option, you don't have to use those, but those can be an extra strategy to help you remember to really step high, and an extra challenge. So maybe 1 more minute and then we'll get set up here. We're going to start with those forward steps over the hurdle, alternating side to side. If you're seated in your chair, you can practice this move stepping a little, instead of stepping forward, you can do it stepping to the side with 1 foot back to the middle and then the other foot. So you're getting the same practice, really lifting that foot high. So let's get started. I want us to do 20 all together, and I want you to count out loud with me at home, counting up by 3s. It's like 1 or 2 more people are coming up into standing. All right, let's get started. So counting by 3s, alternating your feet. Really lift that knee high. This is 3. Now with the other foot, 6. 9. If you're seated, you can do those steps too. 12. 15. 18. 21. 24. 27, 30, we're halfway there, 33, 36, 39, 42, 45, 48, 51, 54, 57, and last one, 60. Nicely done. Let's switch directions. Now move your obstacles to the side of you so that we can do our power steps to the side. I also want to note that you can always have something in front of you to help stabilize, either with 1 or 2 hands. But this is a really nice option with the side stepping. As I step to my right, I can lead with that right foot and I can keep a hand here the whole time. So that's a really good option if you want a little bit of support. Let's mix it up for those of you who are seated, instead of just doing the same steps out to the side that you were doing. If you're seated in your chair, why don't you bring both feet out this time, like you're stepping out of the car, and then both feet in. So your timing will be a little bit off from ours. You'll probably have 1 step out by the time we step out and in. And then you'll step back in with both feet on our 2nd repetition. So your timing will be a little bit off, but mix it up so that you're doing a slightly different exercise, bringing both feet out. All right. So let's alternate again, going 1 foot or 1 side and then the other. Let's see, let's count up by 5s this time. And count out loud with me at home, practicing a loud voice. And it helps practice that sequencing. We're dual tasking and doing a couple things at once. Here we go. 5, 10, 15, high knees, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, good job, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. Awesome. Last direction is going backwards. I'm not going to use an obstacle for backwards, but the move that you're going to do is as one foot steps back, I want both arms to come out in front instead. So stepping backwards, arms come out and stepping back in. Stepping back, arms come out and stepping in. And if you're seated, we'll go back to one leg this time. If you didn't do 2 feet last time, you can try that this time. I think that's a really good one to practice, but you can do the same concept if you're seated, really stepping 1 foot backwards and reaching your arms back in and stepping in, and then with the other leg, stepping 1 foot back and stepping in, really trying to stretch that leg behind you. Alrighty, let's count backwards this time. Let's start at 40 and count backwards by 2s, and take your time. If my pace is too fast, go at your own pace, so you're still getting the maximum quality with this. So let's get started. 40, 38, 36, 34, 32, 30, 28, 26, 24, 22, 20, 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, and last one, 2. Nice job. You guys look great with that. We're gonna move on to the Clock Yourself app. So we're gonna continue to use the multi-direction stepping. I've done this a while ago, but as a reminder, if you don't remember it or haven't seen this one before, I want you to think about like you're standing in the middle of a clock, where a clock face, where directly in front of you would be 12. Directly to your right, I'm not sure if my camera's backwards for you, would be 1, 2, 3 o'clock is directly to your side. 4 o'clock would be just below that. 5 to the back of you, and then 6 is straight back. 7 would be just to the left of that. 8 again back into the side. 9 is directly to your left. 10 is above that to your left. 11 is forward, and 12 is straight in front. You can also do that seated, pretending like you're sitting in the middle of a clock. Getting the numbers that are around you. It'd be hard to do straight behind, but you can get almost all the other ones. So we'll start with it really slow. I have an app that's gonna call them out for us. So in the first round, it's going to say all of them in order. So it'll go 1 through 12 or 12 through 11 in order, and then it'll start to call them randomly. And then we'll start to make it a little bit more challenging. So you're standing, you're seated in the middle of the clock face. This prompt is going to call them out. I'll put it right next to my speaker so it's nice and loud. And I'll do it with you, at least for this first time. And then I'm not gonna continue doing it for the next couple, so that you only can hear the prompts. You can't see me doing it as well. So it's a little bit harder, but we'll do it together for the first one.
12. 1,
1,
2, 3,
give me a thumbs up if you can hear it okay.
4,
Okay, perfect.
5,
5,
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 5,
So now they're gonna be random.
3, 2, 9, 12, 7, 11, 10, 6, 1, 4, 8, 9, 4, 8, 12, 2, 11.
Nice job. You guys did really well with that. So for this next one, I'm gonna make it a little bit faster. And I am not going to be doing it with you so that you can't see me as the demo, even though I was doing it backwards probably for you on the sides. But you just have to listen for the cue. Little bit faster, and then we're gonna add another layer to it. If you get messed up by one, just move along. That's totally okay. All right, so here's the second round. Little bit faster this time.
12, 1, 2,
Nice job.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Good job, everybody.
9,
So it's going through that first
10,
sequence in entirety first.
11, 3,
Now they're random.
4, 12, 6, 7, 10, 8, 1, 11, 9, 2, 5, 8.
Nice, that looks really good. All right, we're gonna add another layer to it now. So this is gonna be a little bit of coordination with it. Let me remind myself of this. So it's going to coordinate a movement before. So there's some extra movements to coordinate into your sequencing. So you can use hand weights for this one if you want to. And so we're still standing, there's 3 different ones that it's gonna call. One is gonna be a center touchdown. So when you hear center touchdown, you wanna bend your knees and reach down towards the ground. It'll say that in between the numbers, and you're just gonna do it once. So if you hear center touchdown, we're gonna bend towards the ground with our weights. And then another one will be biceps. So when you hear biceps, you're gonna do your biceps curl while you're stepping to the number. So if it says biceps 1, I'm gonna try to do it on your side now. You're gonna step to the number 1 while you do the biceps curl. And then just once bring your arms back to your side. And so you're gonna keep doing the bicep curl until it tells you differently. So it will say biceps 1, and then it may say 6. I'm gonna keep doing my biceps until it tells me differently. Then it may change it to chest press. So then if you hear chest press 2, I wanna stretch both arms out while I step to 2. And again, I'm gonna keep doing the chest press until I hear otherwise. So you'll keep up with that movement until it switches. And then I think there's one more. Yeah, well, last one is punches. So we have biceps, chest press, And then a punch is just one hand. So then one hand, if it says punch 9, I'm gonna just do one hand as I step to 9. And this one's continuous too. So for all of those 3, you're gonna keep doing that hand movement until it tells you to switch. Now, let's make sure that was the last one. All right. So as a reminder, there's 4 commands you may hear in addition to the numbers that they're going to call out. Center touchdown, it's kind of like a reset. So that will just be, you'll just do one center touchdown, which is a squat towards the ground. And then the timer may call out biceps. So you'll do a bicep curl as you step to the number. And you'll continuously do a bicep curl until it tells you to switch, which could be a chest press or a punch just with one arm. And I'll do it with you for the first round. I'm going to switch my sides so that hopefully I'm mirroring your side more accurately. And then I'll have everyone do it themselves one time. All right. So let's get started. I think it's going to do the same, go in order of the clock for the first round. Oops, hold on. Let me turn my volume up. All right.
Center touchdown.
So center
biceps,
touchdown.
8,
Biceps was the first one.
5, 7, 2, 12, 9, 3, 4, 6, 10, 1, 11, 8, 5. Center touchdown.
Center
Chest
touchdown.
press.
Switching to
6,
chest press.
7, 11, 9, 2, 1, 12, 3, 10, 4, 8, 12, 9, 4. Center touchdown. Punches. 5, 1, 10, 3, 6, 7.
Nice. You guys did well with that. This is trickier. Let's do it one more time. And I'm not going to demo. I'm going to have you guys do it just by listening. And so it'll probably be similar to that, where it will call center touchdown when it switches which move you do. And you keep doing that move until it tells you a different one. All right. One more minute. I'm going to keep the speed the same.
Center touchdown. Biceps. 7,
The biceps are first.
10, 8, 2, 9, 5, 6,
Keeping up with the
4.
biceps.
11, 1, 3, 12, 5, 4. Center touchdown. Punches.
Now
3.
punches. One arm.
12, 1, 11, 7, 6, 8, 9, 2.
Nice. You guys rocked it. This is an app called Clock Yourself. I'll put it in the chat if you liked it. It's kind of like a fun game that you can practice big steps and adds a little bit of that brain challenge, the dual tasking. So lastly, today we're going to go through our supine power moves. So let's get set up on our floor mats. If you want to stay seated, you're welcome to do so. Do the power moves and sitting. All right, and take your time coming down to the ground. Make sure it's, yep. So we're starting the supine moves with our legs out straight. And for the first move, we're doing the power up. So as a reminder, you're pushing through your hands, push through your feet, and lift your hips up. If you're seated in your chair, I'm sure you know this one well by now, you're leaning down and squeezing your shoulder blades up. As we're doing our power up on the ground, I want you to do that move sitting. So I'll give everyone another minute to get into position. We're gonna do 10 power ups when everyone is ready. Looks like we're mostly there. A few more seconds. Let's count up by threes as we do these. So we'll do 10 in total. All right, are we ready? 3, reset, 6, reset, 9, reset, 12, reset, 15, reset, 18, reset, 21, reset, 24, reset, 27, reset, and 30. So for our next move, it's the power rock. So you're gonna push off with one arm and leg to reach towards the side with wide fingers, resetting in the middle, and then getting leverage from this other side to twist and reach to the other side. If you're seated, you're doing your power rock up and across, resetting in the middle, and power rock up and across, okay? So let's do 20 all together. Let's count backward by 20, or from 20, end at 1. Let's get started. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 11, or 12, excuse me, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, now we're doing our power twist. So starting with arms wide, rolling over to clap, and then resetting back in the middle to go the other way. As you twist, try to keep one arm down so that it's not meeting your other arm in the middle, but that your arm is coming all the way over to clap. And if you're seated, you're doing the same move, starting with your arms wide and twisting to clap. All right, we got 20 of these. Let's see. Maybe we'll count up by 4s this time. Ready? 4. Open, now to the other side. 8. Open. 12. Open. 16. Open. 20. Open. 24. Open. 28. Open. 32. Open. 36. Open. 40. Open. 44. Open. 48. Open. 52. Open. 56. Open. 60. Open. 64. Open. 68. Open. 72. Open. 76. Open. And 80. Good. Bend your knees up for our power step. So for our power step, we're gonna do this move with the scoot today. So I'm stepping both feet out to one side and I'm gonna scoot my hips out. Then I'm stepping both feet back to the middle and scooting my hips in. So this is really helpful, helping us move better in bed. If you're seated in your chair, I want you to step both feet out to the side and then both feet back in. That's the move that we talked about earlier, like if you're getting in and out of the car. So we'll just do 10 in total with this one. Really lifting your hips high as you scoot. So start with stepping both feet out and let's scoot out to the side. Now step both feet in and scoot in. This is 1. Step both feet out, scoot out. Step both feet in, scoot in, that's 2. Step out, scoot. Step in, scoot. Step out, scoot. Step in, 4. Step out, scoot. Step in, 5. Step out, scoot. Step in, 6. Step out, scoot. Step in, 7. Step out, scoot. Step in, 8. Step out, scoot. Step in, 9. Last one. Step out, scoot, and in, scoot. Nice job. Make your way back up to your chair. Take your time getting up. We'll roll over onto hands and knees. Make sure you have something to brace yourself on if you need it. Bring one leg forward and push through this leg to stand. So let's finish with some cool down stretches. And another moment to make their way back up. So while people are making their way back here, let's do some overhead reaches. Reaching up, inhale, and exhale, arms down. Do a couple more that way. Bring one arm across your chest and pull it close towards you with the other arm. Let's hold here for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Switch arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's stretch out our neck. So keep your shoulders relaxed down. Bring your ear towards one shoulder. And then the side that it's bending to, use that arm to gently tug. And I'm going to bring this hand behind my back. So just pull where it's comfortable. We'll hold here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Roll your head to the other side and switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Stretch or put your hands behind your back and pull your arms down to stretch out the front of your chest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Stretch one knee out in front of you. We'll do our hamstring stretch. So keep one knee bent and bend at your hips until you feel a pull on the back of your leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then lastly, bring one leg up across your hip, press down at your thigh and bend forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So nice to be back with you guys today. Good job. Appreciate you being here. Have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you next Monday. I'll stick around for a minute or two if anyone has questions.
Thank you so much.
Great job.
Thanks, Katie. Great workout.
Yes, thank you very much.
Great job. Thank you.
Glad you liked the clock yourself today, Robin.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I had not liked it. Every time you offered it, I rolled my eyes. I was like, not this again, and it was
Oh my
actually
gosh.
fun.
Right? I feel like it kind of mixes it up sometimes. Not for everyone. It's okay, they didn't like it in the past, but sometimes good to mix it up. And maybe we
Right,
didn't
right.
hard enough ones in the past. Maybe today doing like the coordination was necessary to make it more fun.
It was really different. I liked it.
Glad. I'm so glad. Thanks for bearing with me in the past.
Good job, Katie.
You know, Katie, what brand is your speaker that you
So,
have
it's called Snowball.
called Snowball? Okay.
Yeah, it was one that you guys had sent to me.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'll have to play around with it. Not sure why it wasn't connecting today.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Pray for
Bye.
snow. We just hold off a little bit longer.
I know, that's right.
Bye-bye.